Hi, this is Rachel Cook from Brandon Hall Group, live at the HCM Excellence 2016 conference. And with me, I have the pleasure of having Marlon Sullivan, the VP, the Divisional VP of Talent Development from Abbott Laboratories. Hi, Marlon. How are you doing today?
Good, thank you.
Well, can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your background and how you are enjoying the conference so far?
Sure. So I have about 20 years of experience across general business management and human resources, and started my career as a management consultant with McKinsey & Company, spent several years there, and then wanted to get some implementation experience in addition to consulting, so worked for the Home Depot for several years, and then ultimately working where I am today, which is Abbott Laboratories, and as you mentioned, being the head of talent and development globally, supporting the organization. And the conference has been very intriguing thus far. There are several, I'll call them golden nuggets, that I look forward to taking back to members of my team and hopefully implementing in some of the priorities that we have for 2016 and maybe even some years to come.
Oh, good. And you were just you were telling me just a little bit ago that you're kind of dividing and conquering because there are so many sessions that you find intriguing.
Yes.
So what are kind of the top themes, or what are the key takeaways that you're looking to bring back to your organization?
Yeah, so we have a couple of priorities this year. There's one around empowering our managers, and part of that is through a technology platform that we recently launched, which is a global system of record. So clearly learning anything about leveraging technology, how do we better empower managers to be able to do that is of key focus for us. The other is around, I'll call it developing an employee value proposition, not to suggest that we don't have one already, but there's just an opportunity for us to better fill out those unique, I'll call them, propositions that we need to have by market. So for quick context, we have about 74,000 employees across 150 markets. So really understanding the true needs of employees in those unique markets, developing the right offerings for them to drive retention and engagement for us is really important. So part of that is also to look at what others are doing and what's new trends or new opportunities to be able to do that. So.
Fantastic. And it sounds like, and we see how important it is to look at EVP, not just part of the talent acquisition or branding part of the area or the part of the function, but it's really kind of looking at all of your talent processes from hiring to retire. So it sounds like you're kind of taking that approach to it.
Yeah, we're looking at it definitely from beginning to end, and we're also, I think, taking a slightly different look at the value proposition. So I think most companies have an annual employee survey, whether it's called culture survey or whatever, every company has a slightly different name to it. And a lot of times companies will go in and ask employees how they feel about their opportunities or how they feel about et cetera, and you get the feedback and you develop action plans. What we're doing a little bit differently this year is really versus taking a step back and saying, here's what we Abbott want from employees, how do you feel about this? We're actually going to employees in a handful of markets to say, what do you value? So what's really important to you when you think about benefits or opportunity or as you think about financial security? And the goal is to come back with that data and to offer more meaningful, relevant, unique offerings by market that helps to drive engagement and retention. And that would sort of be, if you will, sort of a litmus test for a broader kind of employment offering. But that's where we're focused.
You're kind of personalizing the message across the different groups as they are unique and they have a different appetite for the company, right? It's not a one size fits all, and we're looking at that and learning too, like where everything's becoming a little bit more personalized, and it sounds like that's kind of your approach.
Absolutely, and across each of those categories, we've just learned that what a market, for example, what China or India wants versus, let's say, a Saudi Arabia or a Dubai for that matter, are fundamentally different, and understanding those nuances and really thinking about what employees value. And in this case, we're asking them to actually prioritize, because many employees would say, I want all of the 7 or 8 or 9, but helping us understand what's really most important, and then to the extent that we think and can deliver against those, actually providing those to them in a meaningful way. So.
Well, good. And well, it sounds like since you are so global, and we have a lot of global organizations here from many different regions. Has this been helpful for you to not just get a viewpoint from a U.S.-centric lens, but kind of outside of our environment as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's great to interact with HR colleagues and peers who also can share their experiences, whether it's from a coaching perspective, which was a session I attended earlier that I also got some very interesting insights from, or whether it's, as I mentioned earlier, thinking about it from a broader-based technology platform perspective, or even thinking about it from a resilience perspective, which was also one of the keynote speakers who spoke earlier, talked about the importance of how do you dial that into a high-performance organization. So.
Yeah, she was fantastic, wasn't
Yeah,
she?
agreed, agreed.
Very inspiring, Bonnie St. John.
Yes.
Something that we can all, I mean, her story is just kind of, it really takes you outside of your box, outside of your comfort zone when you really focus on the trivial things, and you look at someone like Bonnie, where she had to persevere in spite of all of her challenges throughout her life. We're losing a leg and still moving on to becoming an Olympic skier. I mean, when you look at that, I mean, I don't know, I guess, what does that make you, or how do you feel about that journey, and how does that relate to your journey?
Yeah, so it was, for me, it meant two things. One, there was just a personal connection there in terms of some of the background and experiences and challenges that she's gone through from really early stages of her career, really through her professional career, and just seeing her be able to get up every day and be excited about what she does. And so I think for me personally, it was just like, wow, this is pretty impressive. And she talked about resilience. I think we generally think about resilience as, you know, you don't do well in something and you bounce back to that same state. And she talked about resilience a little differently. She said it's, you know, you don't do well in something, you bounce back, but you come back even stronger. And I'm like, wow, okay, that's kind of taking it to the next level. The other thing she mentioned was the importance of being able to let things go. So maybe you're focused on one thing and you're working towards it, but sometimes resilience is saying maybe I should be focusing on something else. So letting something, whatever it is I've been focused on now, letting it go so I can accomplish something that may be even bigger or better, whether it's for your personal career or, you know, for your organization. And so I went back thinking, well, personally there are some things that I want to shore up, if you will, but also with respect to Abbott, thinking about how we dial in more the concept of resilience as it relates to leadership and performance management. So we'll give some thought to that, and how do we weave that into some of our leadership programs coming up. So.
Okay, fascinating. Well, Marlon, thank you so much.